everyone, and welcome to the inaugural Exchange Cowboys Talk. I'm Adam here with Troy and Daniel. The format of this, I think, is going to be every so often throughout the season we'll have one of these, and Troy and Daniel will duke it out over what's going on in the world of the Dallas Cowboys of the NFL. For being the first episode, I figure I will ask each of you, what's your all-time favorite player and Cowboys memory? And Troy, if you don't get dropped this time, we'll let you go first.
Oh man, that's a good one. It's so hard to choose, a favorite player in memory. But even though he was like one of the best players in the league, I think that Troy Aikman would have to be probably one of my best all-time favorite players. And then favorite memory. I mean, recent memory, beating the last year's game against the Bills was like one of the most awesome games that I've ever seen. I'd have to go with that. I mean, it's hard to think much further back than that. But Super Bowls were great, but that was an awesome Monday night game.
Daniel?
Yeah, I would also have to say Troy Aikman, because that's just, the obvious one if you grew up in the 90s. And favorite moments, there's a lot of favorite moments, but outside of like Super Bowls and playoff games and things like that, I would have to say whenever George Teague tackled Terrell Owens in the star. That was a good one, and also the Monday night game against the Giants with Quincy Carter as quarterback. Actually, the one where it was on Monday night, and the Giants accidentally kicked the kick out of bounds, and we won the game on a field goal and all that. That was a good game too.
All right. I got nothing else on that. So we'll go ahead and get into the questions, and it looks like we got about 8 minutes for the first question. So, in accordance with the upcoming season, what do you think is the biggest question mark for the team?
Who's that directed at?
That's for the both of you to discuss. All these questions will just be for.
Okay, go. Troy can go first. We can keep.
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. I think I'm concerned about the wide receivers. I mean, we did okay last year without Terry Glenn, but if someone goes down, I think that's a big question mark. But I'd say the biggest question mark, even when healthy, I'd say is running back. I'm not convinced Barber can carry the full load, and then coming out of college, I don't know how big of an impact Felix Jones will make. So. I think we're good there and deep if Felix Jones and Tashard Choice can step in, but I'm a little uncomfortable there.
I'd have to say that the biggest question mark is quarterback play, because from December on for 2 consecutive years, Tony Romo's pretty much just looked completely terrible. And he looked terrible last year in the playoffs. He looked terrible the year before that in the playoffs. Teams look terrible in December. I don't know if he just gets tired, or if the offensive line gets tired, or if people are scouting
the trips to Mexico.
But well, clearly, it's the Jessica Simpson mask. I mean, if I had to stare at her ugly face all the time, it would clearly that would mess up my throwing accuracy somewhat.
Yeah, but when you look at last year, I'm a little worried about Tony Romo too, and he's played pretty badly in some big games, and sometimes he's managed to win, but sometimes, like in the playoffs, he hasn't. So, but even last year in the playoffs, he played pretty well, and the game plan wasn't to put the game in his hands anyway. It was to pound the ball out with the running attack, but and it was just receivers dropping balls and things like that made them lose the game last year. So I think Romo, with more experience, I think he'll put it together. Heck, if Eli Manning can win a Super Bowl, Tony Romo it should be in good shape.
Well, yeah, if Eli Manning can win a Super Bowl, my grandma can win a Super Bowl. She's been dead for, I'm pretty sure, 20 years or something like that. But, I don't know. Because, every position's, one injury away from us being screwed. If T.O. gets hurt, or somebody on the offensive line gets hurt, or anybody in the defense gets hurt, we're screwed. So the only real question mark there is, as far as if everybody stays healthy, is Tony Romo, really. Because everybody else would be fine. The wide receiver core will be fine if nobody gets hurt. And the running game will be fine if nobody gets hurt. I mean, I think Felix Jones was a stupid draft pick, but...
Yeah,
you know,
but
whatever.
do you think... I don't know. I mean, Romo's been pretty good, and I think it's his supporting cast that has failed him in the past. You know, I think Romo's fine. It's going to be up to the running backs because Marion Barber, he started one game, and he got tired in the second half. You know, so how are we going to be okay with that?
No, I mean, think about it, though. Tony Romo's had 2 chances to win 2 playoff games at the very end and blown them both. And it was him that blew... Mind you, they shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, either time.
Yeah, but it was a fluke. It was a fluke play one year. I mean, that could have happened to anybody. And what were the odds of that happening anyway? I mean, it just happened. And then last year, you know, Patrick Creighton, if he hadn't dropped some balls, and you know, if the other players hadn't made mistakes, if they hadn't given up that, you know, into the first half score to the Giants, you know, they would have been in good shape. But I mean, the game plan was never for Tony Romo to win the game last year. It was, you know, for the running game to grind it out. And then Marion Barber got tired.
That's another good issue. Why wasn't it? He's like your best player. Why shouldn't they put the game in his hand?
Because the receivers were out, and that's why I think receivers like one of the biggest questions. Because Owens wasn't 100%, and you didn't have Glenn, you know, and so you had Creighton and part of Owens, you know. I mean, so I can't blame him for wanting to run the ball.
Yeah, but you can't fix the wide receiver position like through the draft, like not immediately. And this team has to win now, so I mean, you really can't do anything about that. Besides, I guess trade for Anquan Bolden, which hopefully they'll do soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
he's
I mean,
kind
I
of
agree.
pissed off in Phoenix, but
yeah, but
outside that, you're really kind of out of options there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was hoping they would pull something off before the draft, but it didn't happen. So you're right. I mean, it would have been stupid to draft someone. So I think we'll be okay though.
See, I'm rooting for Miles Austin personally.
Yeah, but he's never.
He's got a funny name, and you know.
Yeah, he'd be okay if he didn't always get tackled by the kicker, and if he could catch. You know, if he could catch, you know, maybe a couple of the balls thrown his way instead of, you know, dropping them. I mean, he's fast and all, but
man, those pass interference calls against. Or was that Sam Hurd? I don't even remember now. They're like completely interchangeable in my mind.
No, I think you're right. I think it was him. So
like,
yeah,
pass
I mean,
interference calls against the Packers. Like if he just keeps getting tackled in the secondary. Like that's the best strategy in the world. Like just keep getting tackled in the secondary.
So yeah, if you could keep up the pass interference calls and also catch the balls more, I think you'd be pretty good. So
yeah, that's my theory is that if you get tackled in the secondary, you don't even have to catch shit. Like you can just fall down. Awesome. But one of those guys I hope hopefully step up.
Yeah, from what I hear.
I mean that's your best bet. As opposed to, you know, trading for someone or hoping a rookie will pan out. So,
yeah,
we'll see. But I do agree with you. Like, if a wide receiver doesn't step up besides T.O., because I don't even know if we're going to get Terry Glenn back.
Well, we cut him, so I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I was reading stuff saying that you would cut him, but then we bring him back if... Because really no other team wants him. Like, that's why we were playing hardball with him about signing that deal about his injury.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, you know, signing away like insurance because nobody wants him but us.
But what if somebody did sign him? Like, what if, you know, they go short a wide receiver goes out in Miami and then they decide to bring him in there for cheap?
Well,
I mean, if he doesn't have anything, he'd take the minimum.
Then
You think?
Well, then Wade Phillips should call Keyshawn Johnson. He should, you know, be like, hey, man.
I'll solve every problem.
Are things really that cool in Bristol? That's like the whitest place in the world. Come to Dallas. Play with us. I don't know.
He was at camp the other day.
Really?
Yeah, Keyshawn. He was at camp like yesterday or whatever.
Really? Because, I mean, it's not Bill Parcells, but still, you know.
And actually, I will have to stop you there. We are at 9:50, so let me stop the recording and start another one.
Okay.
So question number 1 is in the bag.